Capes Eat Free.
Oh,
maybe we should do like an intro song.
Yeah. Capes Eat Free.
Yo, hey. Yo, what's up, Capers? This is Chris, the Film School Dropout, and you're listening to Capes Eat Free on TV. It's a segment of the podcast where we have an in-depth discussion about superhero-based TV shows. So I usually bring on some special guests who have seen the show, and today's special guests are Mark, a.k.a. Professor M. Sometimes we let them make up their own names. Because I'm Bryce Man, or Bryce. And we have that, a.k.a. not Edward Furlong. Capes Eat Free on TV. One of the TV shows that I really liked was on Amazon called The Boyz. It's, it's kind of it's a superhero show, but it's not this traditional superhero show. Technically, it's an anti-superhero show. And these guys are fans of the show in some capacity.
I'm going to tell you guys what happened to me. I watched The Boyz. Okay, first, I read the comics.
See, first I knew it.
Oh, okay.
I knew we were going to ask you.
I was way into it. I thought, dude, this is going to be an incredible IP.
How old were you when you read the comics?
Like an IP address, or
no? It didn't come out. I'd say check me on this, but I think The Boyz came out in early 2000s, like right around after Preacher.
Yeah. It
ran from 2006 to 2012, guys.
2006, yeah. And so
thank you, Collector.
Then I watched the show, and I was a big fan. But then I watched Bloodline and watched Mendelsohn and Kyle Chandler in Bloodline, and then went back to review The Boyz. And The Boyz is not a perfect show.
Well, no. The Boyz is not a perfect show. Mr. Bryce, man, what you liked it? You didn't like it?
I thought it was an enjoyable series. I watched it pretty quickly, probably within the course of a week, and I just thought it was a lot of fun to see characters and superheroes play probably how superheroes would play if they were real life people.
Yes.
Yes. Like there's that's what I think is really cool is the idea that no, they're not perfect, and they're so powerful that they can really kind of get their way, and they would get their way. They treat them like celebrities or sports athletes and stuff, and they have that attitude of like they're unstoppable and they're loved by everybody because they have this persona that they play. But in real life, they're despicable, and I like that layering of the characters of it. Normally you see like kind of they try to layer superhero characters to make them brooding characters or something about them.
Yes.
That ultimately makes them good, but this is just they're just selfish individuals, and it's a really good show that reflects our times too.
I think it's a reflection of how real people would be. If you had superpowers yourself, you might say, "Oh, I'm gonna do good things." You might be a nice person, but you're not gonna take advantage of these superpowers.
No, exactly.
Well, so we've got Bryce Man really likes it. Like it's a really good show. Eddie is not in that camp.
I didn't not like it. I just felt like even on that point, I feel like there is an innate collateral damage with any superhero, regardless of their moral compass. Like, look at Man of Steel. Like, how many casualties would have been like how many lives would there have been in that final fight? And that had nothing to do with moral. That just had to do with the fact that these guys are like gods. Mm-hmm. And when you're a mere mortal, you stand to get smashed if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. And it kind of touched on that initially and abandoned it in favor of a more, morally, power corrupt sort of theme. I just would have liked to have.
No, see, and that to me, like, because even when I watch like the Justice League cartoons or something like that, or you would see, obviously in like Batman, they have these things where they don't kill, but their bad guys are killing. So, do you find yourself responsible when you let the Joker go and he kills 20 or 30 more people? There's all this collateral damage with being a hero. I feel like in the Boys, they just didn't have the conscience to care about that. So even if they wound up killing somebody by accident, it wasn't. They were just like, oh well, but we did this, but I feel like that's more real.
We're not talking about Zack Snyder Batman movies, are we?
Oh no! I was talking about the cartoon where they try to limit the blood.
The other thing I want to go start with now before we get too far in is, how did you discover it?
I saw promos for it and some marketing. I saw advertisements on the subway, but I could care less because for the most part, sorry Amazon, their shows I don't know, they're throwaway shows to me.
Yeah.
But I had a coworker that watched it and told me how amazing it was, and it was summertime and there was not much to watch, and so I was like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. And I did the first 4 episodes in one night, and I'm like, okay, yeah. And maybe it's because of lack of TV, but I thought it was all right. So
half the series in one night. All right,
that's fine. That's
for
called
me,
binge
it was one
TV.
of those, Yeah.
The only thing I didn't like about it is just because I live in New York City. All the non-New York City locations they tried to pass off as New York City was all to me bullshit. There's never that much grass anywhere, and it was just really aggravating to see so many it was like Vancouver or Toronto or something wherever the hell they shot it. But it was definitely come on, just try use a little bit of your CG budget and just put the skyline in. It's okay. Just try. So that's just personal, and it'd take me out of it because I'm like, this is not New York City.
Oh, So somebody who's living in New York,
Avengers shoots in Georgia, but yet they still spring the money for some nice visuals, So
well, it's because they want to blow up one-on-one park on every movie. I found out about it completely by in-app advertising because I'd watched something else on Amazon, and they're like, "Oh, you should do this." But I'm in the same. I'm in the same. IG? No. Other suggested. Oh, you watched Man in High Castle. You should watch The Boys. No. But I was really surprised when I started watching The Boys. I was like, this is really good. And I had not heard of the comic book. It took me probably an episode or two before I was like, wait, this is way too complex and built out of a storyline and a universe to just be an original. This has got to be from a comic book somewhere I just haven't heard of. So I am definitely not in the comic book shopping store scene like Mr. Furlonger over there.
And did you like it or dislike it? I mean, the broad stroke.
In the broad context, I liked it. I thought it got a little bit odd toward the end of it. Some of the characters took some interesting turns.
Yeah.
But what I will tell you, I was going through it. I'm like, this is interesting, and then I realized what my connection and why I liked it. I'm a huge Eric Kripke fan, and I didn't even think about that as him being the showrunner for this, showrunner for Supernatural, for Revolution, for Timeless.
Okay.
So. And as suddenly that was like, that makes all the connections. And I was like, that's why, is because, I'm seeing the same sort of kind of ideas, his concepts. I'm a unrepentant Supernatural fan, which is an odd thing. But Timeless was great.
Oh, man, Supernatural was awesome.
Still good.
I say, no, Supernatural is like the show.
I want to be clear, dude. I'm a fan. I come out giving The Boys a thumbs up. I want to be clear on that. I was just saying that.
Okay. I thought you were going to say you were giving it something else completely.
I thought you said you were clear. Right?
I was like, we're going to have to clean this up.
No, I just cleared.
Visiting,
Edward
it just
not,
didn't.
It's okay, but.
Are you familiar with the comic?
No,
Chris.
I'm not familiar with the comic at all, actually. This is one of the shows that I did not. I mean, I knew about it, but when the show came out, I didn't connect it as the comic.
After I figured out, this is a comic, I went and looked up, more of the details of the comic book.
Okay.
Didn't go read the books, but went and looked at the universe of it, what had happened, what the storyline was. I thought one of the things that was very interesting is what Kripke probably changed about the universe to make it fit more.
That's what I wanted to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah. into a TV show.
I think
So
very, very deftly. The story that exists in the comic book wouldn't play. Do you guys remember when, Chris, were you with me when we went and saw Entourage, the movie?
Yes.
And do you remember how that movie came out just in time to be cool anymore? Do you remember that?
No, it came out just after the time.
Careful, Mark.
Yeah, it was just perfectly. I remember we were in the theater. I was so excited, and then I was like, "Man, this is kind of like."
Wait. I was in the
Cool.
booth. We saw that the Cinerama Dome. I was there.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, that's right. You were with us too.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, I'm only bringing that up because if you made the comic as it is, it wouldn't play well. He made a number of changes that massively benefited it as a show.
yeah,
Massively.
I think moving the story forward in time,
Mm-hmm.
getting rid of now we're in the spoilers phase, getting rid of some of the CIA association and making it more of a very loose kind of bringing the boys back together idea. I think that was really deft on his part.
It's similar to what like Frank Darabont did with Walking Dead when it went from Kirkman's
Yes.
comic series
Yes.
to a TV show. Because if you read the comic book, like everyone gets along till they get eaten, and then the show, they actually have depth and the characters actually have conflict, and it makes it for good TV. So similar situation.
Just give me like your overall real quick of the boys before we go into spoilers. Give me 3 words, 3 big words.
Yes. Free association, Bryce.
Unexpected, entertaining, and disjointed.
Okay. Let's go,
Furlong?
Mark.
I'll go damn good fun.
And Mr. Furlong-ish.
Penis, dolphin, airplane.
Interesting.
I mean, whoa. It's all relevant.
That's that.
It is
That's
all
spoilers
relevant.
with no context.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to change mine. Gills, dolphin, airplane.
Same thing. Maybe. I don't know. We can actually
Fingers,
talk about
gills.
that was a weird scene. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't really get that. I wanted to go talk to a couple of girls after that.
Wait,
Well, I
which
don't
one?
think
Which
they
one? You talking about
have-
the dolphin or the fingering the gills?
The fingering the gills.
We're in the spoiler section. Spoilers.
Yeah.
So if you want
And
to know
believe it
more,
or
we're gonna
not,
get deep
this
into
is actually
the
a
boys
major
right
plot
now.
point.
Yeah, it's gonna get deep into the boys because the boys is
I gotta
a
tell
lot
you,
deeper than the commercial.
Dude, I have not been. First of all, Chase Crawford is a very handsome dude. I mean, we have to concede this. Guys, he's such a handsome dude that I couldn't stand looking at him.
Yeah, but then he's
And
got gills.
dude, he won me over in this, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
gills.
I
Keep
thought,
talking. Go ahead.
dude,
Yeah, go ahead. Tell us your
I
truth.
thought he was fantastic, dude. It's the best thing
We
I've
have
ever seen.
Chase Crawford
Chase
on the line
Crawford
right
do.
now. Edward Furlong.
I am, by the way,
Poetic.
I am not the Edward Furlong. I am the Chase Crawford.
So
No, but don't you- come on.
I'll totally give you that
Someone
because
fight me on
here's
that
the thing,
one.
right? I'm not going to fight you on that. I think you're right. Right? The first scene that he's in, when he's doing the thing with Starlight with Annie,
Yes.
I was like,
I'm
this
interested
guy
in what you're
is
gonna say
a
about
total
this.
fucking asshole.
Yeah,
Right?
totally.
And his arc to kind of get back through the redemption story, going to Cleveland, and then seeing the worst parts
Just
of it,
landlocked.
and I'm just like, at the end of it, I'm like, okay, what is going to happen next with him? Like, I want to know more about his story. The whole,
Dude,
getting drunk and
It made me laugh.
rescuing the dolphin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's just such kind of he's such a pathetic character after that first episode, because they really just kind of, he also kind of like reacted, or at least everyone treated him like really everybody should treat like Aquaman and shit like that. Like, come on, what do? You talk to fish?
Yes. Yeah.
Like I'm Homelander. I fly around and I kill people with my fucking laser eyes. It's like, no, you're really not that cool, dude.
No, it's great because that one scene when he goes, I got some information. I talked to my friend, and you see Homeland's like, it's a porpoise. He's just
exactly.
like he just is like totally demeaning him. To me, I just feel like this is. I mean, his character was this guy trying to find this place. He's he's just in the group as well, and he's the kind of the producer that's like, yo, I do big things here too. Hey, you need to do this, and that's what he came off as.
Why is it always got to be
That's
about the
point.
producer? Why is it always about the producer?
Because if you remove every other superhero and leave it to just the Deep, then the dude's a superhero. Like,
yes.
It's just that he's like the Steve Kerr on the Chicago Bulls.
Is he even the best of the?
If you
is
remove,
he even the worst of the seven?
If you remove every other superhero,
wait. He's what SeaWorld brings out because they can't show whales anymore. Okay. That's what he is. Okay? He's not a
So you got Mesmer over him?
If he was the best that we had, if the best in real life, if all of a sudden there was this guy that could like talk to fish and like,
swim underwater,
I guarantee you he'd be in the news.
Look, if in real life, if someone could talk to fish right now, do you hear what fish tell us? No, they'd be pissed at us. He would have a 300 million long list of fish ranting about how terrible we are to the oceans. Do you want to hear that? I mean, Greenpeace. No. That's the Deep.
Oh, you want to know something? And that I think that's actually shown great in the lobster scene when he goes to Ohio and he's just he's talking to the lobster and he's like, "I'm gonna save you. I'm gonna get you out of there." And then
I got
he goes
you,
to buy
dog.
the lobster, and they just put a knife through his brain. It's just like it just shows how meaningless his power is.
But guys, I have to say, like. Chase Crawford did do a great job of selling that well. Like that codfish scene or lobster scene, dude, his timing on that was awesome. Like I burst out laughing. That was one of my favorite
performance. Chase's performance is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
He sells the patheticness of the Deep so well.
Can someone help me out with
they did a good job at the show and turning him into like you said, Mark. He's this asshole of a guy. That all of a sudden, at the end of it, you're like feeling sorry for because he's just being like run through the mud on the 7, and he's in Ohio and he needs some redemption. You actually feel sorry for him a little bit.
Well, you can almost say that like the way he treats Stargirl. What's a
Starlight.
The way he treats Starlight in that first episode is like. It seems like, oh yeah, he's coming from a power, but you could tell like he's just doing that because that's the only sway he has, and it's despicable what he does. But that's like all he's got in this job.
No, and I think
he's taking advantage of it like immediately. He
knows his moment of power. That's what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
I think it puts it in context very well. So, Bryce, what was your favorite? What was your favorite scene, person, actor in this? Can't say Chase now; it's taken.
No. I mean, anytime when you can get like Adventures in Babysitting into a comic book movie, boom, you got it. Elizabeth Shue. I thought
you got Elizabeth Shue.
Yeah, I was so upset when.
She was sexy in this.
But she was smart. So and she was
strong,
vindictive. It's a very strong female character. I thought she did an amazing job in this.
Well, you got to think, dude. Homelander's essentially Superman, and dude, she held him in check, dude.
Yeah,
but
towards the end, you saw she was afraid of him, and you realized. I mean, you could kind of see that she was afraid of him the entire time.
Well, that was the neat about it, is that cat and mouse between them through most of the season. Was she trying to keep her control over him and him just pushing away and doing more and more on his own to try to get what he wanted and what he wants out of the overall, and just to kind of eventually show her how unneeded she was in this whole situation.
Well, the only thing I disagree with there, Bryce, is the cat and mouse metaphor in this case. There's not any suckling involved. I'd say it was more like a cow and calf situation.
Yeah,
Chris, did you have a character that you want to?
I'm going to go with Homelander.
Yeah.
I feel
like that would be my take.
There's this movie. It's a comic book series. It's just like a one-off comic book, but it's also that they made a movie out of it, an animated movie called Red Sun, which is a story of Superman growing up in Russia. Like if his ship
Yeah.
landed in Russia, he'd become Russia. He'd be the Red Sun. I feel like Homelander is the guy who was raised by a corporation. Meaning,
Yeah.
like,
Well, that's
that's
how
his
he's written.
powers are being, his powers are just like, he has all the powers in the world, but I mean,
No
with
empathy.
Elizabeth Shue keeping it in check,
Yeah.
but there's no empathy. There's no, it's almost like a sociopath, like Dexter, if the TV show Dexter, where he has to be given these rules to live by because he doesn't actually care about anything. That's what Homelander's raised that way, to where he gets to the point where he has all his power, so he has to have like these things just for him to check himself by. Which, if you want to get deeper, I feel like it's I think that's the laws of morality that the world puts on just people in general, just so no one just murders everybody. But that's the whole concept. Is like this guy can literally do anything, and he says he can do anything, but he doesn't do anything. There's that scene where Queen Maeve tells him, it's like, listen, we have all this power. Why do we like jump when they say jump?
Yeah.
And they don't have a real answer for that, but they say that, and it's just like they know they have this power. He knows he has all this power in the world to do whatever, but he thinks he's kept in check to where he believes that he does have all his power, but he doesn't use it. He doesn't use all his power.
Well,
he's still like a kid.
If I'm going to jump into that psyche, right, I'm going to say that he's much more powerful with the idea, the belief that he's all powerful without having to prove it. And if he ever reaches that phase where he proves that he's not all powerful, right, the whole illusion falls down and he loses his mind, basically, right? He just disappears. So maybe that's how he gets defeated, is they show him he's not all powerful and he just kills himself.
We'll find out.
But what I will say, I don't know where Anthony Starr came from, because I don't recall seeing him, although I've seen stuff that he's been in. I just didn't put it together. If that's his actual jawline, I can't believe he's really Australian. He's got to be American with that jawline. He's like Captain America as a jaw. And it's just, if it's not prosthetics, I don't know what it is. So, congratulations on Anthony Starr and your jawline. That's all I got to say.
So, Mark, who's your guy then?
Who's my? Here's my problem, right? You got Chase, I get that. The deep, Homelander. Elizabeth Shue. Completely agree with you on Adventures in Babysitting. Ever since then, I'm going to say that's our age showing. But look, Billy Butcher, Carl Urban.
Oh yeah,
I think steals the scenes that he's in, leads the show where he's got to take it.
I don't know. I think he was, to me, is one of the weakest guys in my opinion.
You think?
He's just too over the top, and I know that's his accent. I think I don't know. It's just I don't know. I just get tired of it. I just thought he was too over the top, and Huey would have been an idiot to do anything with this guy in the first.
Well, see, that's where I think he gets Huey involved just enough, brings him in a little bit, and then builds and builds and builds. It's like, well, no, you've already done this, so you can't back down. You got to take the next little step, right? But I think Carl Urban did a good job.
He's better when you can see the masks, when he's got a mask on his face, like when he was in Dread, it's like, then he works better that way, so I don't know.
I look at some of the characters, right? A-Train, I think, had a couple of good scenes, a couple of good ideas, but at the end you felt kind of sorry for him because he can't seem to admit that he's the reason that he had to kill his girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
Like I thought that was an interesting scene there. The way they treat Black Noir, I don't know if it's insulting to me or just illustrative. Like, you have no idea what this guy does.
He's the one that didn't say nothing the whole show, right? Yeah.
He's got no lines.
How can you?
You got no idea what his power is. In fact, this is, I think, one of the weakest things of the whole show, is there's so many people that have like a marginal power or some, like, I don't know what Queen Maeve's power is. It's that she's strong-ish.
She's just a bit stronger, that's all.
It's
just a Wonder Woman knockoff.
But
I don't like, and I heard some other story, some of their comment that was like, oh, she can fly. And I'm like, no, she can't. Homelander's got to
Well,
carry
dude,
her.
I can illustrate that perfectly. I was on a date and we were going to go get dessert, and I recommended at the place we were at that we do the banana cream pie. And I said, it's kind of the Superman of their desserts. And she said, don't you mean the Wonder Woman? And I said, no. And she was what? And I said, the banana cream pie is the best pie.
I'm going to predict that this date did not end successfully for you.
Well, hang on, because I made a point.
Doesn't matter.
She goes, I can't believe you say that. And I said, you know what? I'll agree that Wonder Woman the movie was a better movie than Man of Steel the movie. So,
which is wrong.
In that case, the banana cream pie would be the Wonder Woman movie of desserts. But I said, if you're tied down on the railroad, and there's a train coming, and I tell you Superman's coming, tell me you're not feeling pretty good about your prospects. But if I tell you Wonder Woman's on her way, tell me there's not a part of you that's hoping she makes it in time. Do you know what I'm saying? She's just not Superman, dude. Queen Maeve's just not, like, I don't know.
I feel like
a long way of agreeing with you, Mark.
Queen Maeve is just a character that, like, she knows how the system works, and she's grown up in the system, and she's over it, but she also can't leave it.
It's the woman that has power, but feels like her male like peers are just over her, or they just, everyone still feels like they're above her because she's a woman.
She's an upper management corporate job. She's not the CEO. She still has to prove her weight to every man that she talks to, even though she's
almost number 2.
Technically better, and she's sick of it and whatever, but she does it because that's what she's always done. I don't know, that's what kind of gets to me with her.
But Starlight, I like the character. I like the idealist, innocent young girl. But her power is she makes bright light. Like and it could.
Yeah, what is she a reference to, Chris?
She's more of a reference. Some. I don't know her power. Like
her eyes glow.
She's just like the bright-eyed. She's the bright-eyed, bushy-tailed new girl. That's like, oh, I'm in it. And to me, I just felt like it was a direct reflection of what she was as a character. The bright light in the group. The whole new girl who thinks that everything's like rainbows. But no, I don't think she's a direct ripoff of any other characters like all of the other ones are.
For some reason, I had her pegged as a knockoff of Starfire in the Spider-Man cartoon. Do you remember that?
But
she's not.
Firestar.
Firestar, yes.
The Starfire's in Marvel. I mean DC. Starfire's in DC. But yeah, keep going. Good.
But it's not. She's not.
I mean, there's just like there's a lot of
Firestar's in Marvel, yeah.
There's just a lot of the confusion. Now, what I did like about her backstory was the whole Christian.
Yes.
I thought that was a great angle.
That was awesome.
And I love that exchange with her and her mom when she confronted her finally about all that and how that all worked out. And her mom was like, "You should just be happy for what you have." When she finally admitted it. At the very end. I know we're in spoiler mode, right?
Oh yeah, we're way.
Well, and I thought that was one of the themes the show explored incredibly well, without being too on the nose. I loved that aspect of it.
Yeah, the repentant or fallen Christian aspect of it coming from big corporate Christianity.
And if I remember right, when she comes clean, she gets some blowback, right? Am I remembering that right?
I mean, well, she gets blowback in the moment from the audience and everything that she's around, but everybody, the rest of the world is like, wow, this girl's being honest. She's actually talking about these things. And
that sort of makes her a liability to the company, right?
She's a liability to the company because she's on her own at that point. She can pretty much control her own fate. She's gone off their script.
Right,
and
they lose control of that, which is more powerful to a corporation. To what's Elizabeth Shue's character's name?
Chris. No, Chris was a. Hold on, sorry.
Madeline Stillwell.
Madeline Stillwell. Yes. it was more of a threat to her because she's running the company. She doesn't have control over this thing. I mean, they wound up turning it into we just changed her story to the rebel that wants to do good.
Yeah.
Which partly turns Chase Crawford into a villain, which pushes his story arc. But which to me, all that underlining makes the show great because you have the stuff on the surface, but they actually delve into sort of black noir. I think they delve into all these other characters like deeply.
Well, maybe he's big in season 2. We don't know. This
could
yet.
be.
No,
Black
my
Noir
guess
big in
with Black
season,
Noir,
big in next season. We're not going to say season 2. Big in next season.
My guess with Black Noir, they're probably going to have him be because they could literally cast anybody in that role. So when he pulls off that helmet, it's going to be either some kind of star, somebody, some famous person you're not going to expect to be in that character.
Now,
there is an actor.
I got a question for that. Now, not the Edward Furlong. I know. You're of the acting ilk. What if you were Black Noir playing the role of Black Noir, aka Nathan Mitchell?
He'd be cashing those checks just like everybody else.
And then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, but when we take that off, we got this great, we're gonna get what's his face, David Faustino is gonna do it because he thinks it's gonna be funny. How would you feel? You put 2-3 years of work into creating this brooding, emotionless character that you portray. And all of a sudden, Faustino comes in, and just swipes your job. How do you feel?
I feel like you just described the entirety of my acting career in one simple story, Brad.
He's like, I'm hoping to be that guy facing that.
I'm feeling very vulnerable.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about.
It's just none of it's on camera. So
we haven't talked about Huey Campbell. We haven't talked about Jack Quaid's character. And
there's a reason.
Is that what's the reason for that? Is that because it's kind of a weak character?
He is a weak character.
What's weird I feel like
maybe that's the biggest thing about this is your hero characters are the weak links. You've created such great villains in this show that your heroes really have a tough time matching up to them.
Well, to me, I feel like yes, he's more the guy that you relate to as just a regular human being.
Well,
so what would you
he's
do in these choices? To me, you follow the story, you make this choice. Would you actually try to the first meeting with Billy Butcher when he's just like, listen, if you want to do something about your girlfriend's death, or you can sit aside. His dad already told him he's a snowflake. He's a wet blanket. So what would you choose?
But also, when episode 2 when he fell for Starfire or whatever her fucking name is,
Starlight, yeah. I mean.
Literally he had just still 2 weeks prior, seeing his girlfriend just ripped to shreds.
Well, it's a month or so later.
Yeah, he still has visions of her. He's got some.
But
here's the thing, I thought
that was one of my big problems. It's wait, what the fuck?
No, I would have made that same move.
Yeah, of course you would.
Perfect.
You're heartless.
Move on.
But here's the thing, right? I went into the show with an idea that okay, these people are the boys, right? The heroes are going to take down superheroes, right? They're going to have an idea, they're going to know what they're doing, and they're really just a bunch of fuck-ups who really have no idea what they're doing in the whole system. They're just trying to figure it out, and they're not even very successful at what they're trying to do, at their goal, right? They kill one guy, they sort of get an idea of something that's happening on the back end with the Compound V, but they never really get into Voight. They never get into the bigger picture of stuff.
They have to wait for season 2 for.
At the end of it, they think they know about why they're making, the villains, the super villains, and they're calling newspaper writers and editors, and they can't even get a story published. But yet they can just go to the CIA, get the CIA involved, and then that gets pulled out from under them. They're complete fuck-ups in terms of what they're really trying to do, which I think is one of the failings of the show is okay, they're really, really weak. They shouldn't be that weak, especially if they've been
I get
doing
it. What you're saying, that there's no way that they'd be able to do any of this or get anywhere close to these people.
Yeah,
as weak as they
I would
are.
say there's no. I wouldn't say exactly there's no way they would be able to do it. But the thing is, the only reason they were able to do it is out of luck, meaning this is the perfect situation for them to get as far as they did.
Yeah, I mean, Huey gets through to
yeah.
Stretchy Preachy Man with moxie and basically fakes his way through the whole thing and somehow doesn't die. And it's like,
yeah, where
he'd be dead in a real situation like that.
85% chance he would probably got his neck snapped.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm thinking too.
A-Train would have ran through him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In
No,
sketch.
I mean, and that's one of the things about the show, just in general. Like when Homelander finds out about them, why wouldn't he just go and crush their heads and be done with it?
So I think,
why doesn't he do that?
Hold on, I think that they actually
It's just
set
so he
up the
doesn't move the plot
Homelander
forward if
twist
that
at the
happens.
end. Yeah, I mean, you're right about that, Bryce. Right, that's the ultimate reason. But I think also, that's why there's no eagles that come and save them, right? And just fly them. They don't fly them up to destroy the ring because that would be easy.
Yeah.
Right. Here's the thing, right? The way they treated the Homelander, and we are full in spoiler mode, right? And his kid, and having the conflicting stories, and not having all of that happen on screen, I think was really good way to drag out and kind of say, here's why Homelander just doesn't go and destroy them, because he actually does realize that they're not the enemy in all of this. Like, yeah, they're trying to take them down, but they're an insignificant little fly, and his bigger concern is being controlled by Voight. So
yeah, that's a really good point, Mark. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just the ending. Ending hit a little too close to home for me.
What?
Is this because you had been?
Did you?
I mean,
raised a foster child.
Some ex of yours has had a baby with
your eyes closed.
Homelander.
The last shot of that show came up, and I was like, "Been there, done that."
Hey, I want to say, did anyone guess that ending?
No, and that's another tribute to the showrunner or whoever made that choice. That's a deviation from the comic as well. Comic doesn't do that.
I don't know if I necessarily guessed the ending, but I was expecting some kind of trick play, I guess.
Well, it's because you're intelligent and you get how this works. But
yeah,
and
you're always looking for it. But yeah,
no. Say it out loud. You're intelligent and you know how this works.
All right,
sometimes
Eddie,
you just need a MacGuffin, okay?
Oh my God, or an eagle.
Yeah, actually, I want to talk about that real quick.
We want a MacGuffin and a MacGuffin and another MacGuffin and a MacGuffin, and then we're going to
drop out.
With
what do you got to say?
No, I want to say about that. The A-Train character, they set up the whole heart attack. They set up the whole these drugs can hurt you, and then it just perfectly happens right before he's about to kill. Which
that's a total MacGuffin, right? It's a total.
Well, but it's like what you said. It's just like they wouldn't get this far without just perfect situations, and I feel like that's what some movies have. But if you have just too many of them. Yeah, it's like a Fast and Furious. It's not possible.
It pulls you out of the experience. Yeah. It's like you have to.
But so here's the thing that
you have to be convinced that you're going to be lied to quite a bit in order to get into the story. But once you feel like you've been lied to too much, you stop believing the story.
But here's my guess at why that happened. Right in the comics, there is an actual drug form of Compound V, right? It's not pure Compound V. It's some.
Can you verify this? Not the Edward Furlong.
Do you remember what it is?
Book graduate.
Actually, I don't remember if that was.
Okay, you did not graduate, so the comic book dropout.
Associate's degree.
The comic book associates.
You made it.
There can't be two dropouts.
The film school dropouts. He's the library. This is Chris. I thought you read it. I'm surprised you didn't.
No, I'm surprised you guys know this much more on the Boyz than I did, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, some of us prepared.
Hey, that's why
we thought we were going to be talking about it.
I have a separate computer in front of me, and I've been like fucking pounding the web pages. What are you doing?
Bryce looks
like
almost
I'm not
exactly
smart.
like any
I multitask.
guy trying to predict who you should play as running back in fantasy football.
Marshawn Lynch.
Background is perfect.
Yeah. I'm questioning whether you two know this.
Breaking Bad.
So
what's up?
So the original Huey Campbell, right? This character that we didn't actually like that much. He's actually based on an actor that's in the movie. Do you guys know who
Simon
that
Pegg.
is? Well, dude, you're just ruining the whole like quiz show aspect for the other two.
No,
Did you
I
guys know
just
Simon Pegg was the inspiration?
For Huey?
Yeah.
Oh, did not know.
I mean, his name,
Did
they
not
got the
know.
same fucking name. What the?
No. Well, there is his
Oh,
father,
man.
but so it's Simon Pegg plays the father, and he's the original like
because he aged
inspiration.
out of being able to
Yeah.
play the Huey character. You look at the Huey character in the comic; he looks just like Simon Pegg.
Once
Yeah,
you play
13 years
Plump
ago.
That's why
Plot,
his
you
cast,
never go
okay.
back, okay?
Yeah. And he actually
That's why
wrote
they
the
cast him.
foreword. He wrote the foreword for one of the series of comic books when they came back. So he was flattered and he was happy to be in it, I'm sure. So
Which is
But-
why he's the only like legit half A-list person in this cast. Okay.
what?
Well,
Come on.
Carl Urban.
Elizabeth Shue, dude,
Elizabeth
your own
Shue?
favorite character.
Well, I'm gonna say
Adventures in
Elizabeth
Baby
Shue.
She ain't the A-list.
Shame on
B
you.
minus.
Carl-
She's a
Carl
talent.
Urban.
She's a talented actress worth her weight in gold, and she'd be great on any set because she's going to play her role to the T. But yeah,
You know,
Elizabeth
let's
Shue,
put
if
that
you're
in an
listening to
email.
this, Bryce has a
I liked
script that
Dredd,
I'd love to.
but it
to have
took
you
me
on.
a friend.
Right.
It took like a
You
friend
might
giving
be
me a
dealing with-
physical DVD to see that movie because that's the only way you could see it. And that thing came out like 2 years ago.
Which one?
What are we talking about?
Dredd. Carl Urban, Dredd.
Oh, Dredd. Oh, Carl Urban is in Star Trek.
What are you talking about? Scotty.
It's 6 Degrees of
Yes.
Kevin Bacon. So Carl Urban is in Star Trek with
Oh yeah, yes.
Chris
All right.
Pine,
And both Simon and so
Who's
is Simon
with-
Pegg by at that man
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Jeff Bridges in Hell or High Water, and Jeff Bridges.
Well, now you're just saying names.
I'm trying to connect. Oh, I thought, are we not trying to connect
Trying to connect everybody together. No, I mean, so
Kevin
here's
Bacon?
so here's the other thing that really got me involved in the Kripke universe, which is there's all of these characters that are actors and characters that have occurred in each of the little different Kripke storylines. So Jim Beaver was the big clue at the end. He's playing Secretary of Defense Robert Singer at the very end. So that character, Bobby Singer, is in Supernatural, and Bobby Singer is a producer on Supernatural, which is interesting.
Interesting.
It's not unlike the days of a fabled organization called Velocity Entertainment.
Where we had
Where
the same actors and characters and everything.
actors would often
It's like
sprinkle
like,
throughout.
Wes An-
old
yes,
school
a lot
Hollywood,
like Wes Anderson.
old school Hollywood films too. They just all
Yeah, I mean Wes Anderson kind of copied it from the esteemed
Yeah.
Velocity Entertainment.
A lot of people, that's a major criticism of Wes Anderson. He kind of ripped off Velocity.
No,
Releasing
that
at the
is
same time.
that is
That
a
was
major
kinda their
criticism
deal.
of Wes Anderson. I hear that all the time from USC.
So I
Yeah.
updated Wikipedia's page on Velocity Entertainment to reflect that.
A lawsuit.
Just waiting to happen. All
Well,
right. Have we discussed
Let's-
what's next?
Well, I wanted to
for
say
the
this
deep
movie. You know,
in
this
the rest
TV
of the
show
seven?
is like produced by Seth Rogen's company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why isn't
It's
Seth Rogen
Kiki.
guesting on here? Like, why
Yeah,
because
you know
because he
Seth
was in
Rogen.
he was in the Green Hornet. And he wants to be successful, but a lot of
That's right.
the jokes and stuff and the comedy just felt very, I guess, Seth Rogen-ish in a sense. Where that's why he
So
was
are you
so
saying
much. That's why he was
are
so
you saying
fine
they
with
felt-
playing with like blood. You know, when she get burst, when Robin gets burst, and there's just blood all over the place to me, and it's just. I mean, it's this gruesome moment, but it's kind of comedic because it's like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
To me,
that
You laughed at that, Chris?
I laughed the second time it happens because I'm like,
because
this guy keeps
because
getting
I was still
splashed with
figuring what
body
happened.
parts.
Like what the hell? But
While
then
you
she
were
looks
giggling
down,
about
here's
it?
her
Here's the
arms in his
thing.
hand.
Here's the thing I want to end on because I think you're bringing up right. There's some gallows humor in this that's kind of like holy fuck, and we'll go back to the sex scene because that's fucking weird with the deep. And the other thing that I thought was really interesting or weird was the way that they treated the kind of like hanger-on comic universe to the point where you've got Billy Zane showing up a couple of times Tara Reid. You've got the Comic-Con, groupings of people. You got and it becomes the plot point, right? With Haley Joel Osment and that character. What was it? Whatever his name was. Right?
Oh yes, Mesmer.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
He's got Mesmer as this, like, he's trying to get back in and get something bigger, and he, works his way in. I thought that was kind of interesting that they treated the comic book, the Comic-Con things as kind of this, like, laughing stock.
Dude, yes.
Filler.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
And the fact that there's real superheroes there at this thing, and it's still kind of, played as a joke. But if there's real superheroes at Comic-Con right now, all the guys would be juicing. I mean,
I don't know. Some of these cosplays are getting pretty impressive, man.
Yeah,
I've seen some Iron Man outfits, dude.
Yeah, but he's not flying out of there, right? He's not shaking your hand.
Give it a couple more
your
years.
Life story. Give it a couple more years.
Dude, I dug it, but I gotta tell you, man, if you go back for a revisit, I'm gonna grade it this way. First time through, I gave that thing a B+, and second time through, still gonna pass, but it's in a C category for me. I don't think the Boyz is gonna age.
Doesn't hold up. Okay.
Yeah.
I would agree. I think it's a B. I think it's good summer fare. I think if you want something that you can watch and enjoy and not feel like you need to be religiously attached to it, like, say, some other shows, where like you're like, oh my God, it's Sunday night, I gotta be here. I think that's good. But I also think that it ultimately is missable. It plays a lot of like tropes with like the blood factor and stuff like that you mentioned, like as humor. It's like, yeah, like Tarantino did that like 20 years ago. Like, it's
plenty of people have done that, so it's not.
Yeah, Roger Corman did it the best. It's like you just kind of let it. The campiness is fun for one playthrough. When season 2 comes out, yeah, I'll just check the recaps again. I don't know if I could sit through season 1. There's some shows that you can go back to and look at the nuance of everything and all the character development and watch it several times and be amazed. This is one that's like, oh, it's really fun to see it for the first time, but the scene's been played, it's done, the joke's been played. It's like, all right, this is good. Take me to the next one.
I'll go, then you wrap up. I think that it's definitely worth the time to watch through one time. It's entertaining. It's 8 hours of episodes. It's not a huge commitment. It's not like Westworld where you're jumping in at season 2 and you got 24 hours of catching up to do. It's good. I'm waiting for season 2. I expect season 2 will be kind of interesting, but it's not the most awesome thing ever. Don't get this wrong. But it's worth time to see.
I mean, and I'll say this because I've watched the series twice, and no, I mean, I'll say I liked it a little better when I watched it the second time because I actually did see a lot more of the character development and the nuances. I did see that there was a lot more put into like these characters and how they were built, more so than just like some superheroes that, hey, we're just fuck ups and we can just do whatever and everything's a joke. It's like these characters are deeper. Overall, I did like it, but if you were dealing with these people like this, you would have been dead episode 3. Even when you put yourself in their world, I still don't believe it would be realistic. We wouldn't have a season 2. They'd be dead. But overall, I do like the show, yeah. Because we'll come back with something else next time. This is Chris, the Film School Dropout, with Mark Bryce and Furlong, Mr. Edward Furlong.
Who's gone?
And we will be
just let the call.
And so until next time, guys, check out the Boyz. If you don't check it out, I guess it's your own damn fault, right? So check it out. I want to thank my guests for being here too.
Thank you, sir.
Next time, maybe the Thought Junkie and maybe the.
Thank you. Hey, hold on. I'll do it real quick. I'll do a thank you from Adam, so that way we can have his thank you too. Thank you.
That's relatively close.
It's Mean Machine, yeah.
Or the mask. Yes.
It's Mean Machine. Thank you. Thank you.
Machine. All right, guys, I'm signing out. Cape C Free. Check us out next time. Holla.